What's going on, everybody? It is December 5th, and we are going live here. See if we get some questions, see if we get some people in here. Wait for just a second for some people to come on. I haven't done this for a couple of months, but I want to answer some questions for you guys. We have some news while I'm waiting for some people to come on. Obviously, a lot of you guys know we've got the sweepstakes going on right now. It's the December sweepstakes. It's that sick 2025 KTM 300 XCW, the factory edition. I don't have a way to show you pictures unless I actually just pull them up on my phone here. This bike has been absolutely sick. I'm so glad that I found it. Thank you to one of my buddies who helped me get that bike. But it's this guy that's hard to see. This is the 300 XCW factory edition. It's got the cone valve forks. You probably seen it on my Instagram. You maybe even seen me. I've done one or two riding videos on the bike as well, and so that's pretty stinking sweet. The thing is up for grabs. The sweepstakes goes through the end of the year. Again, if you come in, let me know where you're coming from and what your questions are kind of down in the comments. Sorry, my phone's supposed to be on silent. But yeah, the sweepstakes goes through the end of the year, and we had a good start to it. We started on Black Friday and went through Cyber Monday. We did a double up period where we were doubling your chances to win that sucker. Cool thing is you can buy anything off my website, dirtbikechannel.com, and you can also purchase anything from my affiliate links with Rocky Mountain ATV. So you click on the affiliate link. Easy way to do it is go to dirtbikechannel.com, and then you grab there's just a link there that says shop Rocky Mountain ATV. Once you click on that link, you can literally buy anything they sell. I have some suggested items on there just to kind of get the juices flowing, but you can buy anything that they've got, and it works. And there's no Rocky Mountain ATV is not a partner for this. I'm just one of their affiliates, and so if you work at Rocky Mountain ATV, you can't win. You're disqualified. Unfortunately, sorry guys. But if you don't work at Rocky Mountain ATV and you're not basically related to me, then you're eligible to win that sweepstakes. So thank you so much for supporting that. And the bike is going to be really sick. I'm excited for that to go out to somebody. I'm drinking an Alani right here because it's the middle of the afternoon. I'm tired. We got Don in here from Missouri. How's it going, Don? The other thing the other update, and some of you might already know this because I've mentioned it in emails and I've mentioned it towards the end of a couple different YouTube videos, but I have had knee surgery. So I have been wearing this brace, this very ugly brace right here. That sucks. It's a straight brace because I tore my ACL on November 1st at the park with the kids. And then on November 25th, I had them reconstruct the ACL, but also the meniscus was torn bad enough that once I was out and they were doing the ACL, the doctor put a couple stitches in that meniscus to try to repair that. And the sucky part is it's been a lot more blood and a lot more swelling and a lot more painful than last time. I did my other ACL on the other side 7.5 years ago, and this one's harder. It's been hard to get that quad muscle to fire back up again, and it's still not fully fired up. It's been a little over a week, and it's twinging, but it's not fully fired. I've been doing rehab, and I've been working on my range of motion to get the thing flat on the ground, and oh my gosh, that hurts. And then also bend it back, and yeah, that's not been fun. But the swelling is now starting to go down. I've been using ice, a lot of ice. So you guys might recognize one of these things. This is a little ice machine that I basically keep going all the time. At least as much as I can kind of bear it. But my riding season is over. Obviously, it's snowing outside here in Utah, but usually we get to go ride a little bit, and I'm not going to be able to do that. I won't be able to ride until May or a little bit later, because the doc wants me on that straight leg brace for 6 weeks while this meniscus heals. He doesn't want me to put weight on the joint and bend it at the same time, which is like no stairs. So I'm going to be in that straight brace for 6 weeks. I've already gone 1 week, so I got about 5 more weeks of that, and then start the other recovery, which is build the muscle back and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a long grind on this one, but I've done it once. This one's going to be a little harder, but we're going to do it again. So anyway, that's what's going on here. David, we'll take some questions here. So Greg Hayes says snowy and cold Ohio, need stud tires here. But he asks, what is your ideal tire size you like to run? Most of the time I'm running a 110 width, like a 110, 100 on the rear. Sometimes I'll run a 120. It just depends on what the tire is. And some of these tires, some of the 110s are just as wide as the 120s, and some of the 120s are as narrow as a 110. So it just kind of depends on the tire. Some of the tires that I really like I can, if you send me an email, David, I will send you back a list of like the tires that I run a lot. I get enough questions about that. I have literally a copy and paste email that I'll drop in about the different tires that I like. In fact, here we go. Yeah. So, but a lot of the tires that I run are like semi-gummy tires, because I like a tire that performs well. And you can either get a tire that performs well, or you get a tire that lasts a long time. You don't really get them in at the same time. So yeah, send me an email and I will kick this back to you. Like a few tires I really like out here in the West are the IRC VE33S, Gekota. I like the Shinko 520 DC. I like even the Tusk Talon Hybrid. Those are really great. I like a Shinko 525 Cheater. And on the fronts, I like, like I like the Bridgestone M59. I like the Bridgestone X31. I like another one that's kind of fun is the IRC IX09W. That's pretty cool. But yeah, those are some of the ones. Other tires that I've used. Oh, and the Tusk Talon is also a really good front tire. And on front tires, I like a narrower front tire. So I prefer like an 80 width. So like an 80, usually what are they? They're about an 80, 100, 21 is what they are. So I like a more narrow front tire is just kind of my deal. David said that he likes a fatty front and a wide rear. I don't like the fatties as much. I just don't feel like they're as sharp as I want for the type of riding that I do. So I mostly ride like more narrow front tires. Isaiah, it looks like it's Isaiah T. Isaiah HT 7956 says, from West Virginia, what's the best bike for mix of MX and enduro? Oh, so it depends on what type of enduro you're talking about. I don't like to do enduro riding on a 4-stroke. I'll just be dead honest with you. But I do like to do motocross on a 4-stroke. So you're mixing two different disciplines. And if the enduro was just maybe some woods riding, but it wasn't like super slow speeds, or like really technical stuff where you're in first gear, like slipping the clutch and stuff, then I might do something like a Yamaha YZ250 FX, because those are good on the track. It's based on the YZ250F, but the X model makes it a little bit better for off-road stuff. So if I wasn't going to do like a ton of really slow riding, I might try that YZ250 FX. If most of my riding on the enduro side was going to be slow, I'd look for a 252 stroke. And the reason why is it'll do the slow stuff, the enduro stuff, way better than any 4-stroke. But it's also a ton of fun on a motocross track. And I think a 252 stroke is better suited for motocross riding than like a 300 2-stroke is, just the way that the power delivery comes on. So if it was going to be some nastier enduro and then also mix in some motocross stuff, I'd do a 252 stroke. if it wasn't really ever going to be gnarly enduro, I'd probably go 250 4-stroke is the way I would do that. Brigham Pace, or is it Brigham Price 4630? I think he'll ever get his hands on a good old T100 TW200. No. I mean, I've ridden TW200s. They don't interest me at all. So and if you love them, like it isn't for me, like it doesn't light my fire. What's your next ride? What's your next bike going to be? I don't know, because I won't be able to ride. I mean, I do these sweepstakes usually once a quarter. And that means, as I just mentioned, I tore my ACL. For those of you that came in late, I tore my ACL and I've been in a brace because I had surgery. So this brace I've been wearing on my leg. For the last week and a half since I got my surgery, and I'm going to be in that straight brace for 6 weeks total. And then an ACL recovery takes you about 6 months before they want you to be doing much. I know Jet Lawrence was riding like 3.5 months, but he's also Jet Lawrence and he's 20. I'm 44. And when I did this before, they didn't want me riding within 6 months. So the point of this is to say that I don't know what bike I'll be riding next. And even if I'm getting a bike for that March sweepstakes, I won't even ride the thing because I will not be cleared or have a strong enough knee to come to ride. It's Hayd Z, HAYDZ 701 says come ride in Hawaii. I mean, that would be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. It's Don RKG 2EF says prayers for a full recovery. Thanks, Don. And then David Fielder 8261. Do you ever change the gear ratio on your bikes, and what setup do you like? I have tried this in the past, David. I'm assuming your name is David. I have done this in the past, and sometimes it makes sense. But what I have usually found is there's a reason why they went with the gear ratios that they have. And so what David's talking about is, like, let's say you put on a bigger sprocket on the rear, it slows the bike down, it gears it down. If you put a bigger sprocket on the front, it gears it up, it makes the bike faster. But it changes where your RPMs come at certain levels. And sometimes I have changed them and liked it. Oftentimes, though, what happens is it wasn't what I was looking for, and I end up going back to stock. Not always, but I would say the majority of the time when I've tried something, I'm like, well, that makes it a little bit better here, but a little bit worse here. And so I usually end up going back to the stock gearing. One that we definitely changed it and we've stayed with it is we've got a 125XC that both my sons have ridden, and I have geared that bike down. So I went with a couple teeth bigger sprocket because it's 125 2-stroke, and we're riding in altitude almost always. 5,000 feet to 9,500 feet is usually what we're riding. And that bike has done, I think, quite a bit better with a bigger rear sprocket. But most of the times I'm not. If I'm on my 300s or 250s or whatever, I just run the stock gearing. I just feel like it ends up being better. At NK, I'm so far away from the screen here because of the way that this is set up with this mic on this side and the way that my camera is. Normally I'd have the camera over here on this screen, and I'm closer to the letters. And when it's names that, like, I can read anything on my screen, but when it's like random things, because this person, their username is at NKZ-NC2NL. So there's not even a word. It's hard for me to like figure that one out. But he says, should I buy a moose? And dude, I don't know what you want to do with a moose. Like, you should just stick with dirt bikes. You don't need a moose. I'm kidding. He's talking about moose bibs, probably. So here's my thing. Do you change your own tires? And I say the only reason I think you should go to Moose Bibs is if you are committed to learning how to do them on your own. And it's a pain in the arse. And a lot of people then don't do them on their own. And then they ride that tire. They put way too many hours on the tire because it's pain in the arse. And they wear their tires out. They run them way too long. And that's my biggest problem with Moose Bibs. I personally don't run Moose Bibs very often. The giveaway bike actually has Moose balls in it, which is a little bit different thing. It's easier to install from my experience. I suck at installing mooses. Like I've only done it a few times, and I'm not good at all. And so but I like tubeless setups where I can change the pressure. I also don't race, so a lot of desert racers or guys run these moose setups so that they won't get a flat, and makes a total sense. Like if I was going to go run, say like the Baja 1000 or whatever, yeah, you would definitely want moose bibs in the tire so that you don't get a flat. But if you are not going to learn how to do a moose bib, I don't really recommend it because you're going to be taking it to the shop anytime you want tire changes. It's expensive and you'll run your tires way too long. I don't like running a tire more than 20 hours ever, really. I haven't run a tire for more than 20 hours for a long, long time. I'd rather run them 10 to 15 and then change them. And if you're running moose bibs and you don't do your own mooses, you'll end up running that tire longer. And I don't love that idea. So my thought is the easiest thing that you can do, like the simplest method, is heavy duty tubes. And then I love tubeless, but I don't recommend that to a new rider because it adds a whole level of complexity to it and some extra, you know, fussing around with it. And mooses are for people who want to go race like desert racing or whatever and never get a flat, or people who just don't want to get flats ever. But there's a drawback because it's just like it's a dead feeling. A, it's heavier. B, it kind of always feels like the tube, like your tire has between 8 and 12 psi or something like that. And a lot of times I run my tires way less pressure than that. Like on my rear tires with tubeless, I run my tires at 2 to 4 psi. And with a moose bib, you're not getting that. So a lot of people will drill their moose bibs out to like make them more compliant. There's all kinds of different options out there, but I'm not your biggest proponent of moose bibs. So Knights 518 says, I love my YZ250 FX. Greg Hayes 2787 said, I'm running your IRC recommendation from your list and I like them. Probably 250 miles on that set. I don't even know what miles are on my bikes. Like I don't see if I can get in here. Losing some comments here. I run only out. I mean, I basically pay attention only to hours on my bikes. I don't know what mileage I put on them. Mr. Moto 4 says, I love that clock. I need to get one. I wish that clock. Has it been working? Yeah, I guess. No, it's not working. It's about 2 hours off. No, it's 1 hour off. I'm like, that wigged me out because the time here is 2:54 and it's showing basically 4:54. It's showing 3:54. It's 1 hour behind. So that battery's dead. That was just the weirdest thing. I happened to look at it at the exact time where it was 1 hour off and it's not moving. Well, actually, maybe it is moving. It's moving. We just went back. We had daylight savings. That's why it's off. But what I wish is it was an actual altimeter clock. I wish it actually showed the barometric pressure, which it doesn't. It's just a sticker on there. So I did aviation in school, and so that's why I've got that clock. It's just kind of fun. What are your thoughts on the 20? So this is Moto X KX. Yeah, Moto X KX 500 AF9. Moto X KX 500 AF9. I can think of a lot of things on that. But his question is, what are your thoughts on the 2025 Beta X Trainer? Let's pull up the 2025 uh, Beta X trainer because I haven't looked at this for just a teeny little bit. So I just want to make sure I'm on Beta's website, and I don't think they've changed this. Yeah. So the problem with the X trainer for me is it's a little bit smaller bike. Beta's already smaller by the other standards, and then this is an even smaller bike, and then it's a detuned 300. And it doesn't have the best brakes unless they've changed this. And I'm going to try to see if they've changed this, but I don't think they even come with that great of brakes. Um, I would prefer in their lineup, I would just prefer the 200RR. I've ridden these X trainers before, and it's kind of like a little bit of a cross between a trials bike and an enduro bike. If you look at the frames side by side, which I'm going to do now if I can. If you look at the frames side by side of the X trainer and then the say a 200RR, those bikes, one of these bikes is made like a motocross and an enduro bike, and the other one is made like a trials bike. Like the frames don't even really look the same. And I just feel like the amount of um the amount of compromises that they've made to make that X trainer is not worth it to me. It's like they're crossing a trials bike and crossing an enduro bike. And you have to have like some weird things that have happened to even make the shock fit into the X trainer. It's like a miniature version of a dirt bike, and I just don't love them. I just don't love it at all. I would much rather ride the 200RR, and the 200RR is going to be snappier than this detuned 300 anyway. I feel like it's more of a woman's bike. And I hope I'm not like offending anybody because I know there's going to be some dudes out there that really love them. I've met them, I've ridden them, and I've never liked it. And I like a lot of the stuff in the beta lineup, but that is not one of them that I like. That 200RR is unbelievable. The 250RR, unbelievable. The 300RR, unbelievable. Their race editions, they're great. As long sometimes I feel like their suspension is a little wonky, but this happens from time to time. And even like I really love their 390 4-stroke. But if it were me, and usually the people who are interested in the X trainer, I push them towards a 200RR. I just think it's less compromise. Well, there's no compromise really in a 200RR, but there's a bunch of compromise in that Beta X trainer that I don't love. So that's my thought there. Let's see. Yeah, somebody said it was Colton also said if you like Beta. I do like Beta. What do you think of the new Prolock 360? This is so I don't know what, let me just pull this up. This is from Mr. Moto 4. Oh, duh. Okay, I was just like, for some reason I was thinking the handlebar mount thing. Why was I thinking that? So I haven't tried this yet. So this is because is this even? Yeah, you can. No. Yeah, so this is the deal. One of the reasons why I haven't tried this is because it's not released to the public. So I've been hearing, so this Prolock 360 is this thing by New Tech, which is the same company that makes the tubeless systems that I like. And the Prolock 360 is essentially this thing where you're putting like 9 holes. Sorry, had a brain fart. I was thinking something to do with the handlebars, but the Prolock 360 is this thing where it's essentially a bead lock all the way around a rear tire. And it's, you put like 8 or 9 holes in the tire, and you're essentially then able to run tubeless or a little bit of pressure inside that tire because you're getting all these bead locks inside of there. You can run moose bibs with it. Some guys will run like a moose bib that is kind of cut out and hollowed out and stuff, but it hasn't been out to the public. Like I just looked, and even like Jeff Slavin's, it says no, the new tech Prolock 360 is still in development, is not expected to be released to the public until the end of 2025, which is where we are. A final price is not known yet. And so I think it's a cool idea. Let me just Google it again. I don't think anyone's. Oh wait, well no. Here's a site that's showing it. Mojo Motorsport is selling this 218. Oh no, it's pre-order. It's still pre-order. So they're showing it at $218. That's pretty expensive. And then you are, and who knows if that's even the correct price. And then you're modifying your rim in a way that it's never going back, because you're drilling out a ton of holes in those guys. Yeah, they're not even showing it on NewTek's website. So I don't know. It's just one where I'm like, I would like to see. Jeff Slavins did a little video on it like 6 months ago, and I've seen other people like Cody Webb and some people talking about him, but like it isn't out yet. So I just think, well, we'll see. It does worry me though that you are going to modify that rim forever, because if you're going with just a traditional moose bib, you're not modifying the rim in a way that it can't go back to tubes. And same thing with tubeless. You're drilling out one of the holes, making it a little bigger, but you could still go back to tubes, or you can do tubeless or moose bibs or whatever. But if you go with this Prolock 360, it could be really cool. It is very expensive, but you're drilling a lot of holes in the rims, which makes it a permanent change. I don't know. So I mixed feelings about it, but it might be awesome. Sorry, I don't know why that stumped me for a second. What are the chances of there being a Ducati 500? Probably not that great. I think the Ducatis look pretty awesome, but I don't know. Like recently, you guys have shown that like if it doesn't have to do with KTM, like there's basically no interest. Now it doesn't really matter on the YouTube side of things, because I don't know. I've never made any money on YouTube, to be dead honest with you. I've never broken even at all. Never even come close to breaking even on YouTube ad revenue. But for the sweepstakes, man, when I've given away like a Honda or two Hondas, like I've given away two Hondas at the same time. And it's funny because the uptake for two Hondas is not as good as the uptake for one KTM on my personal channel. And so what I've been doing is I've been buying a bike, talking about it, doing a little bit of stuff on it, and then giving it away as a sweepstakes bike. And even bikes that have had a ton of pub on them, like the Stark Varg, that was the worst sweepstakes I've ever done. And I had people emailing me for years saying that they wanted me to review a Stark Varg, and then I review it, and then no one wants to enter, and I'm like not even breaking even on the bike. And that doesn't even cover, as far as for like giving it away as a sweepstake bike, that doesn't even cover like the shirts that I bought, or paying the sweepstakes administrators, $5,000 to do the rules and all that stuff. And so, yeah, the Ducati looks awesome, but I'm like, I'm kind of burned on trying to do bikes that, because back in the day, like when this thing made a little bit more money, it was fine to like buy a bike that people don't really care about too much and float it. But right now, the way that this is running, I can't afford to buy a bike that people aren't excited about. And people on my channel are excited about two strokes and KTMs. That's just kind of what it is. So as much as a Ducati would be cool, I mean, I don't think that'll work in the near term, unless I could get one for a crazy deal and give away a KTM and a Ducati. And that's kind of like how I've had to do it, is like, okay, give away a Yamaha YZ250 FX, which I love, but also give away a KTM. Give away a Kawasaki KX 250X, but also give away a KTM because this, I don't know. And it's probably just my own fault. Like the KTMs have been fantastic bikes for me over the years, and I've really loved them. And I think that's what the core of the people watching here are coming for, is information about KTM, unfortunately. And so when I offer information on other bikes, people are just like, oh, who cares? That's been the deal. And Greg's like, sorry, a 450. So he was talking about the Ducati 450. That's even less. So there's even less chance that I'll have a Ducati 450. I didn't even know. Like, I didn't know if they had a 500 or not. If I was going to do a 500, I would need to do probably a KTM 500. I've ridden them, but I've never owned one. And if I was going to do a 500 first, I think I would need to go down that that route or something. Let me just look at Ducati and see, because I don't think it's probably just the 250 and the 450. Accept all cookies, models, off-road. Yeah, they've got the 250 and the 450. But I guess they have this enduro version of it. Is that what there's the MX version and the EDX? I don't know. Configure, discover more. Man, that's expensive. Good looking bikes though. And they're interesting, you know. It's funny, like I have people have mixed opinions on Ducatis, like the street bikes. I often hear a lot of like hate going towards Ducati street bike owners. I don't know. Maybe I'm just sensitive to it. But yeah, enduro cross ready. So their EDX is their enduro cross style one. It's still a 4-stroke, but RS, who is it? Or RSY Ferd says, just picked up a 2025 KTM 150 XCW. What are your thoughts on adding a radiator fan for non-technical single track here in the Eastern Washington Cascade? Mostly do 10 to 15 mile rides, 3,000 to 6,000 feet. So my thought is, anytime you're going to be in speeds of first gear for a prolonged period of time, like if you're in second gear, you probably don't need a radiator fan because you're moving fast enough. But if a lot of your riding is in first gear, then yeah, I do think a radiator fan is really. Hi, sweetie. You want to come over and say hi? This is we got Kenzie May. She came here. Come on this side because the camera's right here. You want to say hi? Hi. They're just asking questions about dirt bikes. So she was sick today and didn't go to school. But you'd be out of school by now anyway. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm just answering some questions. So there was a guy here that was asking about radiator fans. Do you know what a radiator fan is, sweetie? It's a little part on the bike. There's these things on the bike called radiators. Let's see if I can show you a picture of one. Okay, so like this thing right here, it's hard to see that, but there's a part in here that's a radiator where air comes through and it cools down the motor. It's hard to see, but it's kind of like right up in here. And what he's asking is if he should put like a fan on his radiator, which helps cool the motor down. And I think it's a good idea. If you're going to be riding in slow terrain, a radiator fan helps just pull more air through those little fins, and it makes it so the engine stays cooler. Because if the engine gets too hot, then they overheat and they boil over, and that's not a good thing. So to answer your question, yes, I do think that if a lot of your riding is in first gear, you should put a radiator fan. It's one of the things I do on most of my TBI bikes or the fuel injected bikes because they run a little bit hotter. The 150s don't run that hot, but it just depends on what you're doing with it. So if a lot of your riding is in slow, gnarly terrain, and when you say that mostly you do 10 to 15 mile rides, it makes me think that they might be slower. And if you're varying in elevation 3,000 feet to 6,000 feet, that means there's a lot of vertical climb. So the bike might be getting really hot, you know? And I think that a radiator fan is probably a good idea. I don't think it's ever a bad idea. The only way you wouldn't need a radiator fan is if you're desert racing and the speeds are always fast, or you're doing motocross and the speeds are fast. Then you wouldn't typically need a radiator fan. Okay. Colton McDonald 17 says, what's been your favorite trials, I think. Oh, yeah. What's been your favorite trials bike that you've owned, and where do you go riding them? Anywhere close to Salt Lake City besides Dell? So I've owned 2 different trials bikes. I still have one, but I'm not a trials rider. Like, I've never done any trials stuff. I've just messed around on them. But yeah, I've done some trials riding out at Dell. There's some trials riding out at Little Moab, if you know where that is. That's kind of west of Utah Lake, south and west of Utah Lake. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff out at Dell. You can just go playing around on that the north side of I-80 out there, and then there's mountain ranges out there and tons of stuff that you can do. Just playing around. But I've never done any trials events or anything like that. So, and I'm not a trials rider. I own a Sherco trials bike that I got a few years back, but I'm not good at it at all, and I hardly ever use it. I just dink around on it. Greg Hayes 2787 said, yeah, KTMs, I hear that. I have 4. It's just they've been a bike that people have been really interested in.
Dad,
yeah.
I like how in the video where Elf is just in the corner.
Oh, what's in where you're in the corner?
Elf.
Oh, the elf.
Yeah.
The elf is in the corner up there, up right here. Elf. Yep. We got elf on the shelf going on here.
4.
There's 4 elves on the shelves here. Yep. They're checking. What are their names?
There's names
Swifty,
Sally, Sam, and Snoopy.
Yep.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Yep. We got 4 elves over here. And at your mom's house, there's just one, right?
It's
just Logan. Yeah. I have no idea why there's 4 of them here. Shaylee can answer that question. I don't even know if Shaylee can answer that question. So yeah, she's not here. But anyway, that's the deal. So yeah, make sure you get entered to win that KTM that we got given away, or that we're giving away. It's out in the garage right now. It is so cold right here, but it's freezing. That bike is freezing out in the garage, huh?
Actually, I don't know.
You haven't seen it? It's in the garage.
I haven't gone in the garage.
The other bikes are in the trailer or in storage because we had to move. We moved, huh? So I don't have a shop anymore. But I retrofitted the garage so I can film some videos. I've done 2 videos over there, and then I got knee surgery and I've not been doing anything else. But yeah, let's see. Hanny's. I'm getting some hard ones to read. Hanny's Joel or something. Hanny's Ellie Joel 5727 says, like your channel, have watched you for a long time. I mostly ride moto. Do you ever? It would be fun with some moto content. And then, have you ever tried Kawasaki? I'm really impressed with the newer generation. So yes to all those things. I ride a little teeny bit of moto with my sons, but I'm so bad at it that I don't put it up online. Like, no, I'm not good at it. And there's enough moto content out there. Like I see about, because we're big fans of like moto in general, like racing and stuff like that. And there's so many people that put out such incredible videos for moto that I have 0.0 interest in filming when I go do moto, because I'm like the slowest guy, the slowest person ever on a moto track. Connor, my son, is a lot better than me, and Case is a lot better than me now on moto tracks for sure. But I don't have any desire to film it. I'm just like, all it's going to be is criticism. And as much as you say, like, I don't care what people say, like, I don't need to open myself up to like looking like a complete anus on a moto track. And I know enough about the internet to know that that's what that would be, is basically just a shite fest of. And so I'm just like, no, I'm just going to spare myself. So yeah, we will ride moto, but I don't film any of it because it's like, you can't hide anything. Like, I suck. So like, I'm an okay rider for off road. Okay. I'm an okay rider, whatever. But like on a motocross track, I'm so bad. And so I don't record it. And then Kawasaki, yeah, I've had a few different Kawasaki's. I wish they'd bring back their 2-stroke. They teased us earlier this year saying that they heard us. That was in January, but they haven't done anything. So if they put out a 2-stroke, I would buy it I would buy it and just see what they had done with it. But yeah. Dune Rocket, how's your knee going? It's very slow. It hurts like crazy right now. I showed a couple times, I'm wearing this straight leg brace. I've got to have the straight leg brace on for 6 weeks because of the torn meniscus that they repaired, and I've been using. It just aches, and so I've been trying to get it flat to the ground and get it all the way flat, and then also working it to come back. Starting therapy soon. I've been doing my own therapy here at home, but it's been hard, and the muscle isn't fully woken up yet, and it's been 8 days, 8 or 9 days, and so it's been a slower recovery. I'm not excited about that, and so it's hard to go up and down the stairs because I've got to have the straight brace on, and it's not good. It's not good, huh?
Yeah, I'm basically sick now.
Yeah, she's just standing here because I've got like my ice machine down here and a brace down here. I'm not wearing the brace right now. I've just got a compression wrap on, but my knee hurts. I need to go straighten it out and probably take some ibuprofen or something. It's not been fun. So that's it. And then any bike is better than no bike. This is Nibbles 303 or 3066. Any bike is better than no bike. Agreed. I agree with you. And then he says, I have a 2023 CRF 450 and a 2008 CRF 250X. I have two friends with a 2024 YZ250F and a 2019 YZ450. All of us are faster on the local trails on the old 250. The old 250X, huh? Well, that's because you guys are riding 450s. I mean, I would be faster on a 250 4-stroke than I am on a 450 4-stroke. Like I just am. Like the only bike on there that I would want to ride on any local trails probably is that 2024 YZ250F. The 450s, I've had enough of them and I've ridden enough of them that dude, they ride you more than you ride them. But I do agree with you that any bike is better than no bike. That's for sure. And then Alcoholic says, I purchased a used 2018 FC 450 Rockstar edition. So that's a Husky for those of you that don't know. So he's got a Husky FC Rockstar edition. And in fourth and fifth, towards the top of the gear, it'll cut out or stop pulling. But if I pull in the clutch and let it out, it'll grab. What could it be? So are you saying it doesn't do this? I'm always confused when people say that a bike does something in a specific gear, but not other gears. And the reason why it's hard for me to imagine that is most of these bikes don't know what gear they're in. Like the transmission, it's a constant mesh transmission, and it's just the shift, like your shift lever. It's hard to, I don't have the right verbiage for this, but your shifter moves a little thing over, slides a gear over onto the other gear. The motor doesn't know what gear it's in. Typically, I shouldn't say that like totally. Like they might know if it's in first gear, but typically they don't. They're not that sophisticated. And so for you to say that towards the top of the RPM range, I'm assuming that's what you're saying, the top of the RPM range in fourth and fifth, which it only has those because I think it's the FC. I think that's the track bike, the FC 450. So you're saying in the top gear and the second to top gear, when you're getting towards the top of the RPM range, it cuts out. And I'm just like, well, it should do that at every gear. If it's going to cut out, I would assume it would be cutting out in second gear and first gear. And I don't know what that is. Like but that sounds weird to me. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why. And somebody smarter than me would have to figure that one out. Like, why a 450 would cut out only in two different gears, but not first, second, and third. I don't get that. I don't know. But I also don't know why it would cut out at the top of the RPM range, even if it was doing it in every gear. So how's that for honesty? I have no idea, but it does sound weird that it would do it only in 2 of your 5 gears. Patrick Kearney 8774 says, Kyle, I recall you stating in a past video that you're into long range shooting Have you ever thought about starting a second channel of shooting content? I bet you'd make it work. I bet I wouldn't make it work because I'm not good at that either. This channel was a shooting channel. This channel started out as a shooting channel. So I'm not like I like it. I've done a little bit of it, just a little bit. I've never done any competitions. Does it sound familiar to you? Because I don't do competitions in dirt bikes either. I just like them. And it was the same thing. I like rifles. I like guns. I got a bunch of guns. We have a bunch of guns, huh?
Yeah, we do.
How many guns do you think we have?
I don't know, like 100.
It's not 100. We have a lot of bullets, though. We have lots of guns and even lots more bullets. We have like, I don't even know, but
Everybody has more probably bullets than guns.
It's true to say that's true, but we have tens of thousands of bullets. Let me just put it that way. We don't have thousands of. We don't even have 100 guns. But this channel started out as a shooting channel. It was called Rocking But Steady. I was in a band. This is before Kenzie was alive.
Oh,
I was in a band, and so that was the rocking. So we'd put up a couple of YouTube videos of us playing in the band, and then the steady thing was like me, like steady shooting or something. And so I would put up these videos, and it was funny because like the gun community was really hard on, like they were mean, and they would just I'd put up a video, and people would say some really nasty stuff in the comments. And this is before I even had any subscribers. I'm like, I don't even know how you're finding this. And then I switched the channel over to dirt bikes because I got into dirt bikes. And I remember telling somebody like, oh, the dirt bike community is way nicer than the gun community. And I don't know if that's true, but that was what I thought. And so that was the way it appeared to me. And then I found out, oh, the dirt bike community there's still a bunch of a-holes in the dirt bike community. Of course, none of you guys listening here, but like I've had to ban hundreds and hundreds of people. Like I don't look at comments very often, but when I do, I'm looking to see if somebody's an a-hole. And that's all I'm really doing is looking to see if somebody's like really out there, and then I'll just like click to like hide them forever, right? So I don't think it would be a good idea to do a shooting channel. I don't even want to do, like, YouTube was never a thing I wanted to do. I was just like putting out some videos, and but I don't have the energy to make a whole other YouTube channel. When I stop doing this one, I think I'll be done with YouTube forever. But yeah. So that's it. Let's see. Dune Rocket says I had meniscus surgery last July. It plain sucks. Yeah, so I had the meniscus and the ACL, and it is not fun. I'm hating it. What about the X-Trainer don't you like? The small frame, the detuned motor, the detuned brakes, things like that. But the frame is the frame and a detuned motor I don't like. I'd rather just have a full-size dirt bike and a motor that isn't detuned. I don't love it anytime I'm going to detune something, but the frame is a cross between a trials bike and an enduro bike, and I don't like it. Greg Hay says, how about one other channel with all the things you're not good at? What am I not good at? I'm not good at a lot of things, huh? I'm a little bit.
No, I know something.
What? What?
Doing my hair.
I'm not bad at doing your hair. I can do a wicked ponytail.
Barely.
I can brush your hair out really good. I can wash it really good. We got a little thing so she can lay down on the kitchen table, and then we can wash, or not the kitchen sink, and we can wash her hair in the sink. Because her hair is really long. It goes way down to her backside. But yeah, but I'm good at doing ponytails. I'm not good at doing braids.
You're good at
but your mom's good at that, and Shaylee's good at that, so that's all that matters. Okay. Let's see. We've got gaming doppelganger 1414 just got a new YZ250X and a 2026, and boy, it's tall. I can barely kickstart it. Hey, drop in here how tall you are. If you're hearing me, doppelganger, put in the. I almost never do this, but if you're still watching, tell me how tall you are. Because you're saying that you can. Okay, 5'10". Yeah, it's gonna feel relatively tall. I was. If you said like 5'6", I was gonna say you might have to lower the bike. At 5'10", it's tall. It depends on what your inseam is, but also you don't have to put both feet down. And I get it. It's one of the reasons why I wouldn't say I don't like the YZ250, because I do, or the YZ250X, but electric start would be really nice to have. And I refuse to buy one. And I don't want to like talk bad about your bike, because they're fun bikes and it's a killer motor and there's a million aftermarket parts for them. And there's no cheaper way to get in with a full size 252 stroke. There's no cheaper way to do it than what you've just done. But and you're going to be, maybe $2,500 cheaper than a KTM 250 or a Sherco 250 or whatever. But you are missing this electric start. And some people say, "Oh, it's easy to kick," and I'm like, okay. It's easier to kick at the beginning of the day. It's harder to kick as the day goes on. And every time you stall the bike, or if you stall it on a hill or whatever, it can be really a pain. And you'll get better at it, is what I'm saying. But it's a drawback. And people like downplay that it's a drawback. They're like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It's easy to kick a 2-stroke." Well, it's easier to kick a 2-stroke than a 4-stroke. But towards the end of the day, it's not easy to kick it. And sometimes it's hard. And especially if your inseam's a little bit shorter. At 5'10", there's a ton of guys that ride that bike. Gaming doppelganger, I don't know what your name is. There's a ton of guys that ride that bike at 5'6", that are 4 inches shorter than you. So I hear you. It's not fun a lot of times to kick start these bikes, and I wish it had electric start. You can't even buy a full-size motorcycle right now that doesn't have electric start. I don't know that one exists other than that bike that you have, as far as one that's still in production. I guess there's the YZ125. But I don't think you can buy it from KTM that has, they don't have any bikes, KTM. I don't think Kawasaki has one. Honda doesn't have one. So everything has electric start, and I wish that they would put electric start on those bikes. If they would go through and revamp that, put electric start on the YZ250 and the 250X, and do a couple of other things to it, I think it'd be a KTM killer, and I think they would murder in sales, but they just don't do it, and I wish they would. Matt F. Matt F31. Have you hopped on any of the Yamaha FX models in the last couple of years? I know me messed around with one back in the day. I have been on them. So we did last year, it would have been in the 2024 model year. We went out, me and my son got to go out and do this Yamaha press day thing. And we rode the FX bikes. They're awesome. Like, they're absolutely awesome. If I was going to get a 254 stroke, I would get the YZ250 FX. They're amazing. I think that those motors are the best 250s in the industry. Even the 450 is awesome. The cool thing about it is you can detune it. You can detune that 450 FX more than any of the other bikes that I've ever seen. And so, yeah, I think the FX line is amazing. And I think for most riders, almost anyone, I think the FX line would be a better fit than the straight up F line, like their the motocross line. So I think they're great. Let's see. Dave Jevney 3598. He says the 2017 KTM 250 EXC or 300. You can buy a 2021 cheaper. What are your thoughts? Are the last of the carbs worth the extra money? No, they're not. They're not worth the extra money. I'm not downplaying them at all. And it's here in the US, because it sounds kind of like you're in Europe or Australia. Where? Oh, yeah. So, but the 2017 in the US, it was in 2018. You could still get a carbureted bike, especially on the XC line. And a ton of people, there's been a few people out there that have been scared of fuel injection. And so what it's done is it's created like this market for those bikes that are the last generation before they went fuel injected. And it's made them harder to find. Are they worth the extra money? No, they are not. It is not worth the extra money to have a carbureted bike. There are some guys out there that will disagree with that, and that's totally fine. But for the masses, for most of us, fuel injection is better than carburetors. And if you don't think so, why don't you just go back to a carbureted 4-stroke? Seriously. If carburetors are that much better, then why don't you just get a carbureted 4-stroke too? I will wait. No reason. And so, and I'm not even saying that fuel injection's better. What I'm saying is they're just two different ways to get a thing done. And the problem is with carburetors, most of the time people don't spend the time to tune them. And so then that means those bikes don't run good. Like they just don't. Most people don't know how to tune a 2-stroke carburetor. And even now, fewer people know how to tune a 4-stroke carburetor. And so those bikes ran like dog crap a lot of the time. Whereas the fuel injected bikes don't run like dog crap. And so the only downside is it's a little harder to tune if you do have a problem with fuel injection. And also on some of the bikes, they have oil injection. And if your oil pump goes out, then you will burn your bike down. But that's only if the oil pump goes out, which I've never had that happen. And that's only also if the bike has oil injection, because some of them don't. And if it's still a pre-mix bike, then it's fuel injected and it'll just run probably 95 or 97% as good as it ever could. And it's a great thing. The problem is people are comparing. They're saying, well, this doesn't run quite as good as that one day back in 1997 on May 1st when the temperature was 70 degrees and my 2-stroke carbureted bike ran perfect. And they're comparing it to this like unachievable ideal that happened one time on their carbureted bike. What they're not telling you is that the rest of the time that bike ran at 70 or 85%. And they're not even thinking about that, because even if the bike ran perfect at 10 a.m. that morning, 1997, May 1st or whatever, by 5 p.m., the temperature had changed enough and the density altitude had changed enough that bike didn't run perfect. Whereas your fuel injected bike, it'll run 95 to 97% as good as that bike ever can. And it'll do that basically every time you ride it. And so I'm like, for the trade-off of not being able to tune it as much as my carburetor, I'll take that because it's going to run amazing all the time. And that's my thing with it. Yeah, so Gaming Doppelganger said that Cody Webb is riding for Yamaha, so hopefully they will do more updates to it. Here's the thing, though. Cody Webb is just the newest guy, and I like Cody, but do I think Cody has any sway with what they're doing in Japan? No, I do not. I don't. I don't think. Yeah, it's snowing. I don't think Japan cares one bit about what Cody Webb says. They want him there as a brand ambassador, but I don't think he gets to make any product decisions. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope they do something, but I have yet to see them. As long as I've been doing this, and I've been paying attention to this since 2010 for 15 years, and I've been doing videos on it since 2012, and I was incorporated since 2015. I've been incorporated for 10 years, and I've not seen them make one meaningful change to the YZ250. Not one meaningful change. It's crazy. I wish they would. I'm going to cut you guys loose. We've been going here for about an hour, and I need to stretch this knee out because it hurts. But yeah, go ahead and get entered to win that KTM that I'm giving away. It's if you go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com. If you buy anything off my website, it automatically enters you. If you use my links to Rocky Mountain ATV, it automatically enters you. You can buy anything they sell. They do not give you a confirmation when you buy something from Rocky Mountain ATV. You don't get a confirmation of the entries. It's just they don't give it. They don't do it. But you are getting them. I have given away multiple dirt bikes now to people who have just used those links, and it's great. It's the only reason we're still having this conversation is those links at Rocky Mountain ATV. So if you're one of the people that, every time you go to buy something from them, you go to dirtbikechannel.com, you click shop Rocky Mountain ATV, and then buy something from Rocky Mountain ATV, you're the reason why the lights are still on here. You're literally the reason why there's food on my table. So thank you so much for doing that. But yeah, that's what I've got for you guys. So hopefully a few people got some information, some good info about it. if you want to have an in-depth conversation, schedule a call with me. I do it multiple times a week with people. Where if you go to dirtbikechannel.com, there's a contact thing, and you can schedule a call, and we can just jump on the phone and answer your questions. So, or you can email me. I still need to plow through. I've got a few emails here that I need to get to. So anyway, appreciate you guys, and until next time, are you gonna say bye? Do you know what the sign off is supposed to be?
I do not.
You don't know what it is?
No.
You don't know that we say leave a single track? You don't know?
Well, I kind of do.
Say leave a single track.
Leave a single track.
Okay, bye.
Well, I don't know why, but since it's snowing, it reminded me of let us know, let us know. Let us know.
You like to see your face on here, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you guys. Leave a single track. Bye.